So my name is Hadeel Farhan. It's an honor to be here. I'm a learning technologist at Dubai Health. So that means that I come up with tech learning solutions for learner needs. So that can range from different websites, games, uh, applications, or just interactive content and immersive experiences such as VR experiences for learning purposes. Right now, we're really trying to see how to figure out how it can fit. We purchased some devices. We work in a research team with research projects, so everything is kind of dependent on the project that we're working on. But we really want to try to influence it more into any curriculum or courses that we offer. Just because I think it's such a great way to experience things as a learner and to present ideas as an educator. Benefits are, of course, that you get to translate exactly what you had in mind to this experience. You can try it out, you can tweak things. um, You're communicating with yourself, so it's not like you have to wait for them to see the changes and then get back to them. Or if it's someone from your team, it's definitely much easier to work with. I think the challenges might be that you have to do just that, right? There's pros and cons with everything. So challenges might be it might take more time. Maybe with testing, you just want to make sure everything works out. But there's definitely a much larger benefit, I think, because it's easy to use. So you're not really, you're not looking for bugs. You're just making sure the logic plays out correct. As soon as you enter the experience, the first thing you see is building on fire, or at least that's what I want the user to see. You see a big building on fire. You see text above the building, kind of explaining the scenario, the situation. Um, but you also see the three victims from that fire. And the instructions are that you have to actually categorize the patient based on um, the assessment. So based on kind of their pulse, kind of what's going on, their mental state. So you take the appropriate risk tag and you categorize them into either the red zone, the orange zone, or the green zone. Red being most extreme case, they need urgent help. Orange being they're they still need help, but they're mostly they're okay. Green is they're mostly okay, maybe just a few scratches here and there. But the learner has to click on the buttons to figure out kind of what happened to the patient or the victim. They read the assessment, and based on that, they have to act fast and think about which category they fall under. And so, just like in a real situation, it is a wristband. So they have to pick up the item, put it at the person's wrist, and that automatically, if it's correct, it puts them in that area. And if it's incorrect, it gives user feedback in the form of a cross or an X. And then they can learn from their mistakes and try to figure out what the correct answer is so that they can have another chance at going at the sorting. And so it's just the same for the other two patients. Uh, they try with the green, red, or orange tag, and then if correct, it sorts itself out. And so the learner gets a chance to make mistakes. There's no time limit, there's no real disaster. So they kind of have that comfort while also trying to make sure that they're making the right decisions, understand why they're making those decisions, while getting feedback at the same time. So I based it off of a project that I'm currently working on at the university. And the simulation is actually just a small part of the educational intervention. And so I think if I were to expand on this, there would be multiple parts. I think hopefully multiplayer as well, because you're usually working in a group. Having a secondary assessment stage as well. So sometimes, even though you categorize this person as orange, maybe they actually progress to become red until the ambulance comes. So having that chance to do a second form, like a second triage. And then there's also um, the medical intervention part. So you can actually decide how you want to treat the victim in the meantime until the ambulance arrives. So that would be a cool new layer of adding. Like, let's say now this person has been sorted, but what are you going to do to help them until the ambulance arrives? I think for the snippet that I was able to achieve, I think it's kind of what I had in mind, and I'm really grateful for that. This is basic advice, but just go for it. put the headset on and play around. I think that's the nice thing, is that you can kind of like as you're experiencing it, you get to build it. So it's not like you have to put it on the laptop, build something on it, and then transfer it over to the headset. You're in the headset, you're building it. So you can kind of see it firsthand. And it's much easier than you expect. You're kind of just dragging and dropping items, and then you can figure out how they'll interact later. But it's always, I think the first step is always the hardest, which is to start. And the advice is to start. So.